Hello, this is Chapter 7, Decision Making, Learning, Creativity, and Entrepreneurship. Our learning objectives understand the nature of managerial decision making, differentiate between programmed and non-programmed decisions, and explain why non-programmed decision making is a complex, uncertain process. And number 2, describe the 6 steps managers should take to make the best decisions and explain how cognitive biases can lead managers to make poor decisions. Number 3, identify the advantages and disadvantages of group decision making and describe techniques that can improve it. Number 4, explain the role that organizational learning and creativity play in helping managers to improve their decisions. And number 5, describe how managers can encourage and promote entrepreneurship to create a learning organization. All right, a manager's challenge. Karen Lynch's bold decisions at CVS Health. How do managers make decisions that add value? Well, Karen Lynch believes decision-making skills are critical to successful corporate strategies. When we talk about the nature of managerial decision-making, it's the process by which managers respond to whatever opportunities or threats that confront them by analyzing specific options and making determinations about specific organizational goals and courses of action. The decisions in response to opportunities, this occurs when managers respond to ways in which to improve organizational performance to benefit their stakeholders, their groups, customers, employees. And also sometimes decisions are made in response to threats. Events inside or outside the organization are adversely affecting organizational performance, and managers seek ways to increase the performance. In a programmed decision-making situation, programmed decisions involve routine, virtually automatic decision-making that follows established rules or guidelines. Decisions have been made so many times in the past that managers have developed rules or guidelines to be applied when certain situations inevitably occur. Manufacturing, a supervisor hires new workers when existing workers' overtime increases by more than 10%. Non-programmed decisions are non-routine decision-making that occurs in response to either unusual or unpredictable opportunities and threats. No rules because the situation is unexpected or uncertain, and managers lack the information they would need to develop rules to respond to it. Intuition, feelings, beliefs, and hunches that come readily to mind and require little effort and information gathering and result in on-the-spot decision-making. It's through experience that people feel they have an intuition and a feeling on something, so they make decisions like from the gut. Reason and judgment, those are decisions that require time and effort and results from careful information gathering, generation of alternatives, evaluation of alternatives, collection of facts and figures, and then decision is made. The classical model of decision making involves a prescriptive approach to decision making based on the assumption that the decision maker can identify and evaluate all possible alternatives and their consequences and rationally choose the most appropriate course of action. Optimal decision, the most appropriate decision in light of what managers believe to be the most desirable consequences for their organization. In this figure 7.1, the classical model of decision making, this lists all the alternative courses of action possible and the consequences of the different alternatives. Then you rank each alternative from least preferred to most preferred according to personal preferences. And then you select the alternative that leads to the desired future consequences. In the administrative model, this is an approach to decision making that explains why decision making is inherently uncertain and risky, and why managers usually make satisfactory rather than optimum decisions. It's based on 3 important concepts. Number 1, bounded rationality. Number 2, incomplete information. And 3, satisficing. Bounded rationality, cognitive limitations that constrain one's ability to interpret, process, and act on information. Incomplete information is because of risk and uncertainty, ambiguity, and time constraints. Why information is incomplete? Well, you have risk and uncertainty. You have ambiguous information, not really sure which way to go. And then also you have the time constraints and information costs. And these all add up to incomplete information. The causes of incomplete information, risk, the degree of probability that the possible outcomes of a particular course of action will occur. 90% new drug failure rate in biotechnology industry. The uncertainty, the probabilities of alternative outcomes cannot be determined and future outcomes unknown. Apple's Newton PDA, for one. Ambiguous information, information that can be interpreted in multiple ways and often conflicting ways. Take a look at this picture. What do you see in this picture? Do you see a young woman or do you see an old woman? This graphic shows the reasons for incomplete information, uncertainty and risk, ambiguous information, and time constraints and information costs. Two people can be looking at this and seeing two completely different things. Causes of incomplete information, time constraints and information costs. No time or money to search for all possible alternatives and evaluate potential consequences. Satisficing, searching for and choosing a satisfactory response to problems and opportunities rather than trying to make the best decision. There are 6 steps in decision making. Step number 1 is recognize the need for a decision. Step 2, generate alternatives. Step 3, assess the alternatives. Step 4, choose among the alternatives. Step 5, implement the chosen alternative. And 6, learn from feedback. It can be sparked by an event such as changes in the environment. Managers must first realize that a decision must be made. This is how we recognize the need for a decision. In step 2, generate alternatives. Managers must develop feasible alternative courses of action. If good alternatives are missed, the resulting decision is poor. It is hard to develop creative alternatives, so managers need to look for new ideas. Step 3, assess alternatives. What are the advantages and disadvantages of each alternative? Managers should specify criteria and then evaluate. In the general criteria for evaluating possible courses of action, is it legal? Is it ethical? Is it economical? Is it practical? These are all different criteria that you need to assess when you're making a decision. Step 4, choose among alternatives. Rank the various alternatives and make a decision. Managers must be sure all the information available is brought to bear on the problem or issue at hand. In step 5, implement the selected alternative. Managers must now carry out the alternative. Often a decision is made and not implemented. In step 6, we'll learn from the feedback. Compare what actually happened to what was expected to happen and as a result of the decision. Explore why any expectations for the decision were not met and derive guidelines that will help in future decision making. There's also something called cognitive bias, and there's cognitive biases and decision making. Heuristics, the rule of thumb that simplify the process of making decisions. And then we have something called systematic errors, errors that people make over and over and that result in poor decision making. Figure 7.6, the sources of cognitive bias at the individual and group level. Well, you have confirmation bias, representativeness bias, illusion of control bias, and escalating commitment. These are all cognitive biases. Confirmation bias, the tendency to make decisions based on strong existing beliefs, even when evidence suggests that those beliefs may be wrong. Representativeness, it's a cognitive bias resulting from the tendency to generalize inappropriately from a small sample or from a single vivid event or episode. Illusion of control, the tendency to overestimate one's ability to control activities and events. Top managers are prone to this. There's a level of arrogance actually there when you have something called the illusion of control. Escalating commitment. It's a source of cognitive bias resulting from the tendency to commit additional resources to a project, even if evidence shows that the project is failing. In group decision-making, it's superior to individual decision-making, and choices are less likely to fall victim to bias. But it's also able to draw upon the combined skills of group members and improve ability to generate feasible alternatives. Potential disadvantages of group decision-making? Well, it can take much longer for groups than individuals to make decisions. Also, it can be difficult to get two or more managers to agree because of different interests and preferences and biases. And it can be undermined by biases. The perils of groupthink. Groupthink is a pattern of faulty and biased decision-making that occurs in groups whose members strive for agreement among themselves at the expense of accurately assessing information relevant to a decision. In Figure 7.7, devil's advocacy and dialectical inquiry. In devil's advocacy, you present a chosen alternative, you critique the chosen alternative, and reassess the chosen alternative. Do you accept it? Do you modify it? Or do you reject it? In dialectical inquiry, you present alternative number one, then you present alternative number two, then you debate between the alternatives, and then you reassess the alternatives. Either you accept one or two, or combine one and two. In organizational learning and creativity, organizational learning is where managers seek to improve an employee's desire and ability to understand and manage the organization and its task environment. In a learning organization is one in which managers try to maximize the ability of individuals and groups to think and behave creatively, and thus maximize the potential for organizational learning to take place. Creativity is the decision maker's ability to discover original and novel ideas that lead to feasible alternative courses of action. Get off email and lose the desk. Think outside the box. I'm so tired of that phrase. Think outside the box. We've been hearing it for so long now. Doesn't everybody do that now anyway? Isn't it kind of reductive and redundant? I think so. Senge's principles for creating a learning organization. In this analysis, number one, develop a personal mastery. Number two, build complex, challenging mental models. 3, promote team learning. 4, build shared vision. And 5, encourage system thinking. And when you're looking at creativity and you're promoting individual creativity, people should be given the opportunity and freedom to be creative. Creativity can decline when managers micromanage or rush solutions. Managers can use rewards to spur employees to have creative ideas and to share them. How do you promote group creativity? Brainstorming. Managers meet face-to-face to generate and debate many alternatives. Production blocking. There might be a loss of productivity in brainstorming sessions due to the unstructured nature of brainstorming. Nominal group technique. A decision-making technique in which group members write down ideas and solutions, read their suggestions to the whole group, and discuss and then rank the alternatives. It's useful when an issue is controversial and when different managers might be expected to champion different courses of action. And then you have something called the Delphi technique. It's a decision-making technique in which group members do not meet face-to-face, but respond in writing to questions posed by the group leader. Entrepreneurship. It's the process of identifying opportunities to provide customers with new or improved goods and services. Within the organization, this is called intrapreneurs or corporate entrepreneurs. Intrapreneurs and organizational learning. Encouraging intrapreneurship raises the level of innovation and organization learning. Product champions, skunkworks, rewards for innovation. I recall a time when I actually created a company within an existing company, intrapreneurship. I worked for a computer company, and we provided new computer equipment to customers within the New York and Northeast area of the United States. And we found that many of our customers, when they bought new computers, they didn't know what to do with their old computers. So I developed a new company within our company, Entrepreneurship, where we would take back these computers and we would only charge them freight. But they had sensitive information on it. So we agreed to wipe the memory of these computers. We would charge them for it. We would give them a certificate guaranteeing that we remove the information, because some of the customers that had purchased new equipment and gave us their old equipment were in the healthcare industry. So there's HIPAA rules regarding patient information. So we agreed to wipe all the information off the computers. And then when we got the computers in, we would dismantle them and keep the memory, the drives, any other parts that were deemed worthy. And then we collected all of the memory and then brought it to a smelter who smelted it and separated all of the precious metals. And we got large pieces of gold and silver. So we actually made money on the deconstruction of the computers, and we created an internal company through entrepreneurship. And I thought that was pretty creative. And it was. We made good money too. Well, I thank you for listening. Have a good day.